Prospect Matthew Schaefer, Erie Otters, defenseman.
Yep.
All right. He will not be available when the Sabres pick.
No, he's going 101.
For sure?
I feel like it's pretty sure. Yeah. He did not play a lot. He had an injury early in the year that he had to battle through and get back. But even with that, I think he has been at the top almost all year. There is another player, Scott Wheeler, who we talked to, and I don't have my rankings open anymore. But Scott has, and we didn't get specifically into this, but his tiers, he's got two guys on the top tier, Schaefer and I think Misa is the other one, Michael Misa, so forward. But I think Schaefer is, at least according to most of what I've read, including from Scott Wheeler, Schaefer's like the guy.
You don't like the idea of Connor McDavid on Florida? They've had two good ones in a row or this week. What Joe today, I just saw this from Twitter, what would be best for the league is a super team, like LeBron did or Durant, and putting McDavid on Florida somehow for 7 draft picks, something like that. And they also had the other day, in the event that he is traded, 1 year left, what would you give up for him?
Right. I think I saw Joe tweet something about if he wants to go like a Kawhi Leonard thing, right? Like I want out of here, but I'm going to be a free agent and I'm going to do that. But so you can take me on for a year. What do you want to give up? Anybody you got?
That would be worth it for the Sabres. They were talking about Thompson.
Maybe beyond Dahlin, I guess, but
I don't think I'd want to trade. What's left? 5 years of Thompson? What is it?
Probably about that. Yeah.
For 1 year of McDavid? Unless you had some reason to think you could actually re-sign him. I mean, nope. Does he have control over his contract too? No movement?
Thompson, yeah.
No, McDavid.
Oh.
He probably should, right?
I'd be stunned if he doesn't.
Like he's not on his first deal.
Yeah,
so.
He's not going anywhere. Regardless if he does or not, he's not going anywhere that he doesn't want to go. That would stun me, but I'm pretty sure he probably has the protections because everybody gets it now.
Yep.
So, and Thompson, there was a window there, but I think we're through it now. I think he is the back half of his contract has, I think, some sort of protection, but the front part maybe didn't.
Okay.
I think it's been a while since I've familiarized myself with all of that. I guess I should this is the week to know it, I guess, right? I mean, anything could happen. You want to spitball ideas. It'd be nice to know who can go freely and who you got to convince to go. Thompson,
through 2029, according to SpotTrack, has a 5-team no-trade list. So the Sabres, if they wanted...
That's not much.
No. If the Sabres wanted, they could trade him to any team that isn't on his list of 5. I don't know who's on his list, but that's always fun to think about.
All right.
The Sabres would not be on his list because he already plays for the Sabres.
Right.
This is one. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Here's a star in the league, and the Sabres are not on his list of teams he would not accept a trade to. All right. But that's through 2029. Then in the final year of his contract, it's something just listed as modified no trade. Maybe that's the same. Maybe that's the same thing through the rest of the contract. Yeah. Five teams that I assume he could change.
Yeah, I think
every
year you can open that up, and because there was even, I think a few years ago some hubbub about a guy, I can't remember. It was Vegas and Dadonov. I can't remember the player now, but he had some protection, but he didn't update it or something. And the team,
Ottawa?
The team took the liberty to use it against him, and there was litigation about it and whatever. And I don't remember how it ended, but you do get the opportunity to sort of, like, the team will maybe notify you, or your agent will notify the team, like, hey, my guy wants to make a change. We're in the window where we can modify the list, so we want to do that, please. Like, it's a formal procedure that you know there's a window to do it with.
Well, we're listening to perhaps the first pick in the NHL draft talk. The Sabres picked 9th. And this is a really, maybe, before I say this, Marty Baron was like, I know Tuck and Peterka, and I don't know them to be, wanting out or trying to force a trade or anything like that. I mean, he said of both guys, they really like the group and, all positives from Marty. I think the Sabres have a particular problem. Well, they have others, but because of the 14 years, we had this conversation yesterday too. Can they really afford to get younger? Like, it might not be the best idea to sign Alex Tuck to a 7-year contract. It might be the only way they get to keep him, though. And, probably in maybe somewhat short order, you've got Oposo on your hands again because he's 33 and he's just not at all worth it. You're just hoping for locker room value out of the player. And, where's the C maybe? And, like, do we scratch him? Things like this will happen, eventually, probably, maybe even soon. You just don't know. So we talk like, they have to keep 30-year-old Alex Tuck and they have to keep their good players and want to be here stuff and everything like that because we just kind of are assuming maybe, and I'm not sure we're wrong, that they can't back up from here. That they wouldn't dump good veterans for future assets.
Right. They just re-signed Jason Zucker to a 2-year contract.
Okay.
They re-signed Jordan Greenway to a 2 or 3, whatever. They got multi-year extensions, not long like but with veteran guys that are already, Zucker more than Greenway, at an age where you'd be like, and those are depth, role playing third line type guys. Really, the year started out with them playing very well with McLeod on the third line. I kept making a point about how it's the first time in many cycles of this team's build that they had like a actual team, a purpose for that line. It wasn't like spare parts and kids that couldn't fit up top yet or veterans who they couldn't get rid of or whatever it was. They like built the line and it was working. And then Greenway got hurt and somebody up top got hurt and Zucker went up and like that, it got kind of jumbled. But anyway, you're not in a position to. You don't re-sign Zucker and Greenway because you're about to start over again.
Well, that's right. I mean, you're talking about things they've done. I wasn't even thinking about that, but you're right. They've kind of already started down that path.
Right.
By signing those players. But I'm just thinking, like, generally, we talk like they can't rebuild or anything resembling a rebuild because they've already done that so many times. And now it's just like, it's almost like they have to push forward as a rule. Because they might think the idea of getting younger is just intolerable. And, that a lot of people would agree with them. It's just, it's hard enough already. It's harder when you can really only go in one direction. And if you don't really nail it, you'll get old and still lose along the way. I mean, you have to really nail it when you do it this way. You don't have the luxury of a good team that can, flip draft picks and do the kinds of things like Tampa would do, just kind of every year. You don't have, obviously you don't have that. But because of the drought, it just seems untenable to trade for draft picks and stuff. And that's why I think you're hearing some debate about trading this pick because, like, it's just time's up. Just makes it that much tougher to make the right moves when you kind of only have to go in one direction and you're not that close to begin with.
Right. I don't think the 9th pick gets you on its own something that could really help you. But I think the 9th pick paired with Bowen Byram maybe gets you closer.
Well, let's hope.
To something that could really help you. That is certainly something I think you need to be considering. Because the 9th pick, it's not our guest on Tuesday again, Scott Wheeler. Not a great draft, but still, there's players at the top that might be of interest to someone, but you really got to find a fit. I mean, I don't know. I find it very hard to get too optimistic about it being anything other than a sweetener. Because in and of itself, it's just not that. I just don't think it's that valuable. You're not potentially drafting franchise like stalwarts at 9. You're hoping for a good player, a top, player that plays in your top 6 or your top 4 on D probably. But like that's the ceiling of your hope, I think. So how valuable is that? I mean, I just don't know. But they should definitely explore it, and see what they, what does it take if Dallas is going to really move Jason Robertson, say his name comes up a lot, and that's a big contract, but it's a young, good, very good player. What does it take to make that happen? Can you win the bidding on that? It is something to consider.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I'm sorry to laugh.
I know.
Win the bidding.
Right.
They won the bidding for Leno. Funny how that worked, right? I mean, they won the bidding for Leno. Bidding wars are not exactly their best subject.
Right.
What was your favorite subject in school?
Social studies. History in general. Yeah.
I love, now if I were in school, that would be my pick. But it wasn't then.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just
didn't like math at all. Didn't like science much. I think history and I like English. I liked being forced to read was good for me, I think.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah, that's good for you. We would have been a good 2-man best ball team in school. I'll take math and science. I'll take math, science, and music. You can have social studies, English, and art, I guess. Were you good at art?
I liked it, but I wouldn't say I was good at it.
You don't have, from your youth, a paper mache ashtray or something that you made?
No.
For mom and dad?
No.
That's art from
right.
kindergarten almost.
We did for a long time in my parents' house. I don't know if I can't imagine they still have it. I haven't. It would have blended in for so many years now that I would not have noticed it there or missing. But I made in industrial arts. I made a napkin holder.
All right.
A wooden thing with 2 pegs and a weight on top. So you put the napkins, in it, and then have the weight on top. And that was.
And they just slide out.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
genius.
That was on my parents' kitchen / dining room table for a very, very long time.
That's a great conversation piece. Bulldog mate. They don't call you Bulldog.
It looked all right.
I think they probably don't call you Bulldog.
Right.
Bulldog made this. Everybody.
Right.
When? Today? No, 35 years ago.
Right, when he was in 10th grade. They let him near a bandsaw. That happened. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have to sign waivers for that class,
no,
as I recall.
I don't think so.
For wood shop.
There was danger.
Oh, so much danger.
Yeah. I'm mistaken about Robertson. His contract is up after this coming season.
All right.
He'll be an RFA after that. But you would assume a player like that, if he gets moved, that would come with a big contract.
What gets you Robertson and Ottinger?
Oh, boy. Paterka, Byram, and 9.
Levi?
And maybe Levi, yeah.
You wouldn't do that? I would do that, snap call.
Yeah.
Well, I want to get rid of Byram. The 9th pick doesn't mean anything to me.
Right.
Levi really doesn't mean anything to me. And Paterka might want out. I can get 2 of the best players in the league.
It's an $8 million goalie.
Well, okay.
You like that idea?
I'll do anything.
Okay, all right.
It's interesting. I like that the Sabres doing something interesting appeals to me.
I like him a lot as a player. I mean,
okay.
He did not, the way it ended was weird. But
I'd love to give that package up for a star or 2. Oh, yeah. Paterka's the only player there that I like that I think is good. But if he's unhappy and he's going to be big money, I'm going to need the money for these guys.
Problem I've got there is none of the principals in that are under contract. They're all RFAs. Our side of that, Sabre side of that, they're all restricted free agents.
You have to give up someone else then.
That's tough. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, Name it. Name somebody.
Yeah, right. Open the store.
Quinn. Name somebody.
What do you want?
I don't know. You tell me. I was pretty quick to. You send me that offer in fantasy. You don't even have a chance to think about it before I've already accepted it.
I think Quinn is an RFA too.
All right. Well,